Hello everyone, this is a Homeless Walrus, one of the mod administrators for the TCW mod for Armor 3. All I'm going to be doing today is basically giving a fairly brief overview of a lot of the assets that were showcased yesterday during our playtest that Forensic Steel was nice enough to stream for us. I know a lot of people were unable to watch the stream yesterday, or miss some of the assets that were in there too. So I'm just gonna I laid them all out in editor in the VR map, and I'm just gonna take a few minutes and just kind of walk through what we've got, what we're working on. Just let you guys see kind of how everything looks in game. So should be pretty quick. Expecting no more than 10-15 minutes to get through with all these. So it's not a whole bunch of stuff. Just kind of showing where we're at. So I'll start off easy. I'll just showcase some of these barriers. I don't tend to talk too much during this, so maybe give a little bit of information here and there, but for the most part, just expect me to be walking around and kind of showing off the textures, models, whatever. So anyway, here are the barriers. So one nice aspect about these barriers out front that I'll go over first are particularly like the fact of the height was specifically set so that if I were holding a gun right now, which I unfortunately am not, you would be able to see your default height would be almost exactly at where you need to be to shoot through this little gun port here. So you just walk up one of these things, you're exposing, maybe only a fifth of your body or so. You can stick your gun out through one of these ports and fire away. Maybe when I pick up a gun later we can demonstrate that, but it's pretty nice. The other really neat thing about these is that all these barriers here have spots for AI and Zeus to garrison them. So if you are making a mission for a unit or whatever, you are able to just use that garrison function and get guys in spots they need to be really quickly. Okay, continuing the tour of the barriers. We're gonna head over to the larger barriers just over here. Cool thing about a lot of the stuff that I'm about to show off here is we do have a lot of working doors in our static assets right now, which is a neat little feature. They don't have audio yet. We still need to implement that, but they work for right now. Just a cool little door you can kind of use to close off your FOB. In here, pretty standard area for FOB walls or just barrier walls, whatever you want to use these for. They have an upper level where you can shoot off the side, pretty good height visibility there. You can obviously crouch, take cover behind them, covers pretty much your entire body. Take some pot shots, whatever you want to do. Don't pay any mind to how these line up. I am not the most precise editor manipulator, so just pay no mind to that. Before we get into the bunkers here, I'm going to head over to the, actually I'll head out this side. So as you probably noticed, the team that made the FOB walls has done a really good job with providing a variety of textures for them for different environments. So you have everything from your jungle variety, and note that all these pieces are modular, and so the door pieces, the corner pieces, the side pieces, they all have textures that resemble various types such as these. So you have your desert variation, your snow variation, your jungle variation, and then you have your battle-worn variation there as well. So I'll just walk through here. You guys can take a look at how these look. So I really like the way that all these are set up, where they have, you know, different variations for different environments. You can just imagine being on a FOB out in the middle of nowhere in Ordo Plutonia or something, defending a snow-whipped fortification, or maybe something out in a swampland or jungle or somewhere with this kind of wall here. There's a whole lot you can do, and you know, it's just a small little detail that we put in that I really think is a nice little touch. I like that the guys did this. I think it's a cool way to kind of add to the life of the world that you play in. So, with those big barriers out of the way, I'm going to move on to some of the bunkers we got here, and we'll move on to the trenches. Bunkers here are pretty self-explanatory. You got your top opening. Again, if I had a gun, you'd be at the correct height here, but you can also use the pose system if you need to adjust a little bit as well. And then, like most things, you have your doors here as well. And in a pinch, you can just come right out of the top. It's our normal sized bunker. We'll move on to the command bunker here, a little bit more spacious. So the command bunker is kind of neat in the fact that it has little side rooms here. You know, you can just think about putting a you know, HVT or some wounded back here, whatever you need to protect even more. Okay, those bunkers out of the way, we'll move on to the trenches here. Pretty standard stuff. Just your typical trench. We tried to add the dirt stops here in a little bit more of a Star Wars fashion, with kind of Star Wars-esque patterns on them. But pretty much what you'd expect from a trench. All these, like pretty much everything else I'm showing off, are all modular, so you can set these up whatever fashion you want. We have pieces like here, this intersection piece. So if you want to knock yourself out and make a huge network of trenches, that's something you can do. We have certain prearranged types like the this mortar pit here. I believe this is a vehicle trench up here. You can drop a saber or something behind. And you just have a straight line up there. From here, we'll just head on straight over, start looking at the storage assets. We have a couple in here. These are resupply crates. These are actually currently from 212 Ox, but they will be included in TCW as well, since there really is no reason not to include them. this one has all the weapons in it. And once I'm done showing off the rest of the stuff, I'll come back here and we can show off some of the weapons. There's not a whole lot of changes there, but there were a few bug fixes, so I'll just demonstrate that. Maybe we can even demonstrate some of these shields as well. So moving on, we'll take a look at the storage here, starting with the Republic container. This one is kind of neat on account of the that opening door. Put whatever you want in here, hide some droids in here, whatever you want to do, you can do. And just close it back up again. Now, I'm not 100% sure here, but I believe this canister here is explosive. If not this one, I know we're definitely working on an explosive canister. I suspect this might be it, but it might not be. But just know that'll be an asset that's in a canister. You shoot it, it sets off a small little explosion. I believe it's a Rhydonium canister is the name, so that'll be a cool little asset to have. Moving on from here, we just have your classic, typical terrain assets, just Star Wars based stuff that we feel like allows mission makers to add to their environments that they set up. You got your pipes, boxes, what have you. So the nice thing here is that you have your single large box over there, and these three are set up pre-arranged into these large formations. Oh, okay, well you learned something new, I guess. I wasn't aware of that, but apparently both of these doors here open. So you have a completely walk-through interior. I wasn't aware of that until just now, actually. But that's a neat feature. Didn't know they did that. Anyway, that's about wraps for props. We'll head back in, grab a couple weapons. I'll take a few minutes to show off those, and then we'll head off and demonstrate some vehicles, and we'll wrap it up. I'll spare you guys from going through every single weapon we have. I'll just go through the main ones that we made improvements on. Start with the DC-15A here. The DC-15A, 15C, 15L, and 15S were all used during yesterday's playtest with the 4-unit 75-player playtest. They all performed very well. We've heard some pretty good feedback on them coming back. People seem to like them, so that's a good sign, I suppose. 15A is pretty well known for its reload animation here. Took some inspiration from the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon from 2001, and we thought, hey, we have the capability, why don't we try to do a break action reload. It's not finished yet, we still need to revise it. We definitely need to finagle with the prone animation to make it a little bit more acceptable, because it's basically the same break action, just clips to the ground. Probably going to try and do a roll inside animation for that. But, it does its job. It turned out pretty well, and we're all fairly happy with it. So I'll do a couple shots here. We'll grab another weapon. We'll cycle through most of the DC-15 or DC series weapons in the mod, and then we'll just hop right over to vehicles and get in that. Moving on to DC-15S. Sorry, this prompt is kind of difficult to get hold of, apparently. Okay, we'll go around the side. And that's why we have the stance adjustment system. Now moving on to the more experimental stuff, we'll use the C, DC-15C. This is a really popular weapon. We used this with our airborne forces in the 212th yesterday during the playtest. It's pretty popular. Recoil probably use a bit of a reduction, but other than that, everyone seems to be pretty fond of it. It's probably one of the... I would say actually it's probably the most popular weapon that we hear about when we get feedback on. People really seem to like this thing. The reload animation here is obviously just placeholder for now. The DC-15C is basically was essentially made with airborne in mind, kind of to bridge the gap between the submachine gun-esque DC-15C and the full power DC-15A, and so we came up with the DC-15C, and it's just a kind of an interim rifle. It'll have optics implemented in a little bit, and you know, it does its job. Probably shouldn't shoot it a lot. And finally, we'll take a look at the DC-15L. For those of you unaware, the DC-15L is a squad automatic weapon. It currently has a 200 round mag, although that is scheduled to be reduced to 150 rounds. And additionally, it'll have a bipod set up on it shortly. And finally, it'll have a retexture due as well, mainly for the sight pieces. But overall, it's a pretty popular weapon. High rate of fire, automatic only, pretty much what you'd expect for any sort of suppressing fire type weapon. And that's also a reload animation that is placeholder. It's probably going to be a bit longer than that as well. We don't want the reload animation on an LMG to be pretty much a shorter animation than the standard battle rifle, which is the DC-15A. So it'll be pushed up a little bit as well. Hearing is on, so we'll stop firing the DC-15L cyclic. Put that away. Oh, well, I'm not going to go over the chain gun while I'm not going to fire the chain gun while haste hearing is on, but I can show that off. One thing to note real quick is, obviously we have stun grenades and stuff here, these are pretty self-explanatory. All the launchers we decided are going to be remodeled and re-imported. We're pretty unhappy with all of them, but the ideas will stay the same. Basically, it'll be, this is your multi-shot, dumbfire, bazooka-esque, if you would, repeatable shot, anti-tank weapon system. You have your disposable rocket launcher, bit lower powered, single shot launcher here. And your PLX is your javelin type thing. So, not too much to show off here. I'm not even going to bother picking those up because they're obviously going to be remodeled anyway. So, and I don't think I have an ammo pack in here, but that's right. We'll just show off the chain gun. Hand animation again, work in progress. There'd be a big drum ear thing hanging off the left side of this thing if I had ammo for it, but I don't, so whatever. Pretty self-explanatory. Takes up a rocket launcher shot, or the slot, not shot. If you want to see this thing in action, you can watch Forensic Stream towards the very end. He demos this thing pretty well. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's a big gun. It shoots ballistic rounds, just like the one in Battlefront 2 did, the original Battlefront 2. There's not much to say about it. It does exactly what it looks like it does. It fires a lot of bullets quickly. People seem to like it. And we'll ditch that here. And on to vehicles we go. So the only two vehicles I'm really going to get into today are going to be the Bark Speeder and the Saber Tank. The LAT is currently in really active development. It's in pretty good shape. We could probably mess with the RV mats a little bit as the color is kind of off, but the ball turrets work. I'll demonstrate those. Turrets are yet to be set up, but it's got some cool features to it. Needs some more scripting, needs some more work in general. It's not going to be ready for a little while, but that's okay. I actually don't think this will work unless I turn on the LAT. If I can find the pilot access here. Which is apparently a difficult proposition. Man, we gotta work on that. This is why this isn't released yet, fellas. Need to fix the prompts for stuff, apparently. Okay, that's really weird. That needs to be looked at, but... So, I'm not sure why this engine is on, but looks pretty much like a it's a pretty nimble little craft. You have your landing gear bars here. Access here. Man, that thing takes a long time to spin down. Anyway, the LAT is probably the most work in progress vehicle besides that thing. You know, that's... I'm just showing off what we have right now. It's like a new build gets pushed for this thing on a very frequent basis, so there's a long way to go for the LAT. Just showing off what we got now. Moving on to the Saber. This thing was fun yesterday. This was a popular asset. TX-130. Excuse the startup sounds. I know it sounds like a vacuum cleaner. We're working on it. So reasonably fast speed, getting up to around the 70-kilometer range. Tracked vehicle, which means you can do all the spin circles as much as you want. The turret gunner here has access to this weapon up top. So, yeah, there's a glitch right now. These things fire straight up in there, but I'll shoot them anyway. Well, they're going somewhere. They're not going forward, which is where they need to be going. That's a known glitch. And these saber cannons will also be equipped with a AP variant as well. Fortunately, right now we just have the HE version, so. Overall, it works pretty well. You get 3 guys in this thing, you got yourself a pretty versatile tank platform. And then, if you have infantry moving alongside, you can take a seat on the passenger bench here. And if you had a weapon, which I do not have, you'd be able to shoot off the side just like you would with a helicopter. And this can sit up to 7 people total, 3 crew. You have your commander, driver, gunner, and then 4 infantry are allowed to be seated on the side. So yeah, there you go. Pretty nice little vehicle. We were pretty happy with how this thing performed yesterday. Now moving on to the Bark Speeder. Alright, this thing. First of all, excuse the animation, still needs to be set up to hit the feet on the pedals. Other than that though, not too bad. Hands are a little at an odd position as well, but again, work in progress. It's to be expected. Anyway, on to the cool bits. So yeah, the turret is independently controllable by the driver. It works pretty well. There are a few key changes we need to make. One of which is we need to increase the stability of the speeder, because you'll see if I pull a turn here. Maybe it won't work now that I want to demonstrate it, but it was earlier. It's pretty easy to spin out this thing, so stability increases are something we can work on. Additionally, the range of fire for this turret, as cool as it is going to be limited down a little bit. Not as outlandish as like the damn near 90-degree shots that it's making now. Sleeve speed going in about the same, and additionally we want to increase the rate of fire of this thing as well as the projectile velocity, make it a little bit easier to hit, because you can see if you're coming at something from the side, the leg's a little bit behind. So again, higher velocity, higher rate of fire, make it a little bit easier for people to use. But overall, it's a pretty versatile attack craft, and I'm looking forward to seeing it used in game. I think you guys really like using this thing. Man, I am a terrible shot. Need to fix that command prompt. And then we have this thing. You guys are going to hate me for this, but we're not going to talk about this thing yet because it's not ready. We are working on it. We've got a pretty good handle on it, but until it's ready to go and we're in a state where we can show it off, this is as close as you're going to get. Looks pretty though. And that's about it for the June showcase at TCW. Like I said, not a whole bunch of stuff to show off, but you know, what we have works pretty well. Just need a few minor adjustments, and as I said, some more polish. And hopefully sooner or later we'll get these things out to you guys. I'm pretty optimistic about where we'll go from here. So appreciate you guys listening. I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to show off. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I believe there are a lot of the terrain assets, particularly with Camino, that I wasn't comfortable showing off because I wasn't sure if they were in a state that terrain team wanted me showing them off or not. But I'll speak to them, see if maybe they want to get a preview going. If they do, we can show off the other part of all the props we have, which are the Camino assets, and that stuff is there's a lot of content there. Well, that's what I'll say about that. So. Yeah, we'll see where that goes. Anyway, guys, I'm wrapping up the video here. Appreciate you guys listening in, and we will catch you around.